what it felt like. But with the way this barrister was moving, he
so
wanted
promising
blood.
a bonus. Someone said you can get a bonus if Sky goes down for it.
Yeah.
It's crazy because when we started talking about his love story, Frank was like,
Yeah.
He's like, it's all right. Huh? No.
Yeah.
That's why they say lawyers are the scum of the earth. This is actually why they say that.
Yeah. Why do you have to bring your phone on? Can't you read?
To let you know that I'm about to start. So you shut up. Clearly it's working. For crying out loud. This again. Another love story. Another love story with dual timelines. How many of these are you going to make me read before I tie a rope around my neck and take a long walk off a short pier? This particular rendition of a story we have read 1,001 times features Beth and her husband Frank, happily married sheep farmers in rural England in the 1960s. When Gabriel Wolfe, the first man Beth ever loved, re-enters her life, she will struggle with identity and desperately try to keep her whole past buried. I bet she told Frank she was a virgin, eh?
So do you stand by what you said when you said we've read this rendition of story?
No.
Pause this video right now. Go and read Broken Country by...
Oh, I didn't write the author's name this time.
By somebody.
Oh, no, I did. No, Clare Lesley Hall. By Clare Lesley Hall. When you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
Or you can join us anyway, because we're going to tell you all about it. My name's Elijah.
And I'm Joseph, and welcome to the iShell Library.
So yeah, so when you wrote the intro... So wait, you wrote the intro before you write the book? Read the book, surely
No,
not.
I don't.
Oh.
But, I write the intro... Sometimes I write halfway through, sometimes I write a third in, because there's times when I write the intro and there'll be predictions or something in the intro, and then obviously it'll change radically by the end, and it gives something to it.
Because I wouldn't say I've read a book like this before. I'd say this is original. I mean, the components that were involved in this story, you know, is something completely different to what I've read before, which is refreshing. So what did you think of the book, though?
I thought it was... like you said, the components at work. I knew this was going to have to be a very, very skilled and talented author, because he wrote a book about sheep farmers. There's nothing to hide behind. Do you know what I mean? There's no explosions, nothing. So I knew they was going to have to showcase some skill at work here. I thought there were powerful themes throughout the book. I thought there were, I just thought imagery and symbolism were like almost characters at that point in the book.
I think the first half of the book was boring, but the second half of the book was electric. Like I
think the first 2/3 of the book were boring, and the last third of the book was electric.
Yeah. Because as I was reading the first sections of the book, I was thinking, what's going on? Like, it felt like I was struggling to get through my brain. I was zoning out and stuff like that because I didn't know what was going on. You know, the dual timelines, whatever. But let's actually get in. No, you got to go first, haven't you?
Right off the bat, since this book is about sheep farmers, this author is going to have to be incredibly skilled, talented, and efficient to make this an interesting read. There are no superpowers, ghosts, werewolves, aliens, or magic to hide behind, just a bunch of characters and a woman on Microsoft Word attempting to generate chemistry out of thin fucking air. Yeah. So I said this is a great litmus test to see who is a good author and who's not.
I mean, to even attempt.
Attempt it means you must have big bollocks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And she delivered. I
think that's fair to say.
We've all seen this before. A dual timeline time skip gangbang, where the only person that is getting fucked is the reader. As if one story with all the various characters isn't hard enough to get into, the author expects us to get to grips with 2. And I should probably say, it's more than 2. We are not only in the middle of a trial where somebody's being accused of murder, at which point we don't know who it is, but we also have the timeline of when Bobby was alive, after Bobby died, and even before Bobby was alive, when Beth was young and was dating Gabriel the first time. So we've had a lot shoved down our throat. Do you think it was too much to handle?
Not for me.
Very quickly, I established the author was quite clearly marking time for the trial portion of the book to start. I personally don't think that author did a bad job of writing portions of entertaining dialogue, notably when Gabriel's mother was having an affair and wanted to leave his father, but she said she'd only leave if Gabriel came with her. As a son, what does one do in that situation? Do you tell your father? Do you run away with your mother? Who do you pick? Do you pick who you like best? Even if you don't do anything, your inaction in and of itself is a choice. Yeah. And what I mean by that is, should you not tell your father? By definition, you are taking your mother's side. So what are your thoughts on how the dual timeline was implemented? Do you think it works?
historically not the biggest fan of dual timelines
yeah.
in the beginning. I thought there were I thought it was too much. I always think it's too much, but I still thought it was too much in the sense that, like you said, we've got pre-Bobby, we've got Bobby, we've got post-Bobby, we've got...
Do you think it would have been better to just run the story from start to beginning? You know, them
I always
having
feel
Bobby,
like that.
them losing Bobby, Gabriel coming back, having the affair, then the trial. I mean, we could have run it in a chronological
We
order.
actually could have. I
Which
think
wouldn't have been so confusing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I always believe that's how story should work. You know, start at the beginning, finish at the end, and there's no need to do all of this chopping and changing. I think it's a trope that came out of somewhere because it was new, and people have just continued doing it ever since.
They can't stop.
They can't stop. It's no longer interesting anymore, not to me anyway. But
What did I think of the dual timeline, I hear you ask?
back to formula.
I thought all the before and after and every other chapter was a bit much, because every chapter would be like before, then after,
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, it's
you know,
time
it was just
hopping.
like, what's going on? I was confused in the beginning and sometimes even bored, but it was worth it to get through the beginning section because the middle and end was gold. So in any case, I think that the dual timeline time skip gangbang worked out quite nicely.
I bet that's the first time you said them words. The introduction of Gabriel's son Leo was interesting, I thought. Given that Beth and Frank's own son Bobby died tragically, we can see how it affects Beth. Frank's memories of their past son are too painful, and Beth never gets a chance to talk about it, explore her feelings on the subject, until Gabriel re-enters her life. We can see how this pushes her into thinking that perhaps Gabriel is a man she was meant to be with, and this is the life that she was meant to have.
Yeah.
So this is what I mean when I say things about powerful imagery, and the author showing as opposed to telling.
And okay, so do you think Frank should have pulled rank and stopped her from?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. What is
Because
going
he
on?
was like to her, "Do you sure you know what you're doing?" Sort
Yeah,
of thing.
you can't
sure
be-
you want to be doing that?
Rule with an
And
iron
then she was,
fist.
yeah, but
He
she
should have
was
ruled with an
like,
iron
"But
fist.
we need the money, you know, to look after Leo, or whatever. We need the money." So he should have said no.
You should have ruled with an iron fist. Because these can't... Come on, bro. Like, do I have to spell this out for you?
But what I will say, because it was his fault that their son was killed, do you think he felt like he couldn't have denied her this?
I mean, there's definitely... I mean, there's no way he couldn't have not felt that. Or could have not felt that, sorry.
Yeah.
That had to be a factor. But sometimes you have to be like, listen, this ain't about me, this ain't about you. And especially since it was like her first love as well. You know how women are with their first loves.
Top of it,
The
yeah.
first man to enter you.
all right.
Sadly not. You will not be... No, let's not do that. Yeah, I think he should have pulled rank for sure.
Frank was the stereotypical stoic, honourable man, the type that worked his bollocks off for his family and didn't want anything in return. Frank was married to Beth, the main character. They had lost their 9-year-old son to a terrible accident where a tree fell onto Bobby, killing him. And I mean, how could you not find that scene heartbreaking, gut-wrenching? What makes it worse is that not only does Frank blame himself, as he was the one looking after Bobby at the time, but Beth blames him too. There was another scene that had me on the edge of my seat where Frank decided to have a gun safety lesson with all the local kids. He had one air rifle and he would have the kids take it in turns to shoot down range at a target. One of the children thought it'd be funny to spin the gun around 180 degrees and point it at the other children. Frank, with lightning reflexes, knocked the gun out of the kid's hand and the gun landed on the kid's foot, injuring him. The parent was angry at Frank for taking them shooting in the first place. She said it was irresponsible to, and I quote, "let 9-year-olds shoot guns." Do you agree with the parent, or do you think what Frank was doing was a good thing?
I think what Frank was doing was a good thing. It's not really about... I don't know if 9 is too young to be shooting. I mean, look, it depends who you ask. It depends on the views of the parents, to be honest. But, you know, you can absolutely teach 9-year-olds to be responsible with...
And it depends on the children.
Yeah,
I
it
think
does
you
depend on
can't
the
just
children.
take a group of 9-year-olds that you
Yeah.
don't know. I think
Yeah.
if you know them and you're like, all right, he's responsible, and you pick out some and do it.
Yeah.
But I think to just say, come on, guys, we're going to shoot guns
Yeah.
today, maybe that was a little bit irresponsible. And Frank could have had 2 dead children on his watch.
Yeah, on his watch.
You know?
That's not good CV. One's bad enough.
Yeah, so he's not learned his fucking lesson.
I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop about Gabriel. Usually love triangles are interesting because of the contrasting personalities of the 2 men that our female main character must choose between. I think this is where the author missed a trick. Gabriel and Frank just seem like 2 decent guys, and that kind of makes the whole choice aspect of the book somewhat uncompelling. The choice aspect of the love triangle trope should be polarizing. So, you know,
Maybe I agree with you. I
Yeah.
agree with you. Maybe she did miss a trick, but I still think the way it was good because it's not like Beth. It made the choice more difficult because we've got two guys who are good. One you've got history with, one you've got a future with.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's
was trying to make it seem like she had history and a future with one guy.
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
present with the other guy.
Yeah.
But, like, what I'm saying is, the guy should at least be contrasting personalities. She should be able to see herself with both of them. One's, like, safety, the other's adventure. One's maybe light and one's maybe dark. And that's kind of what makes us buy into the whole... half the readers are buying into this, half the readers are buying into that. Now we've got Reddit. We've got a Reddit thread now. Do you see what I'm saying? So, for me, they were just too similar.
You're right. She did miss a trick because it would have added another dimension to the story. I mean, not that it necessarily needed another dimension.
Not another dimension, for sure. There's enough
need another but yeah, no, that is a trick that she definitely missed. Gabriel was a bit 2D, to be honest. And so was Frank, I guess. I mean, Frank
obviously had the trial stuff coming
not
later
just
on. So.
They had the trial stuff, but he had the stoicism. So he saw him. He literally in real time saw himself losing his wife and did nothing. And that is that shows a character in and of itself.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Despite Beth's husband Frank marrying her at 18, loving her, committing to her, building a life with her, he wasn't even her first love. That title goes to Gabriel, a guy she had a steamy but short-lived fling as a teenager. 15 years later, fate decides to stir the pot. Gabriel moves back into town, and it wasn't even 15 minutes before Beth was breaking her marriage vows and sliding straight into Gabriel's bed. This is a prime example of why some men say that they want a virgin wife. Frank had been with her forever, treated her well, made an honest woman of her, and still, it's the high school sweetheart she truly wants. What's fascinating is seeing the affair through a woman's perspective. When a woman has an affair, it always has to be through some layer of innocence. The book reads, "Surprisingly, I've adjusted to living a double life quite quickly," she says. "I thought the guilt would be written all over my face, as if she's never done anything wrong before and genuinely doesn't know how cheating works. It's like, come on, love, you know what you're doing. It's like she's never lied before.
Yeah,
you know, it wasn't my fault. The pull of Gabriel was just too much."
Yeah, 100%. They even in cheating, they're victims. Even in the wrong, they're still victims.
You know, he killed my son. You know, he pushed me into the arms of Gabriel. You know, it has to be some layer of there has to be some layer of innocence. So, you know, do you think that was purposeful?
Yeah, no, I think it's purposeful because
by the author.
Yeah, by the author
to paint a layer of innocence. Or do you think that was true? Okay.
No, because that kind of stuff only exists in media. I mean, we have a perception of it because of media in real life, but that kind of thing doesn't really exist in real life. I don't truly believe that's how women think, but it's the kind of thing where people don't believe women cheat because they're horny. That's not a thing that people believe. People believe men cheat because they're horny, but they believe women cheat because they've fallen out of love or they're fallen in love with somebody else.
Yeah. That side of it, I 100% agree with you that it is purposeful, but I don't think the painting the layer of innocence was purposeful. I think the author was just writing dialogue and that came out.
Yeah.
But I agree with you because she said her and Frank had sex every day. That's what they said. They just did. So it wasn't horniness. It was because she was loving.
Yeah, she
always did love Gabriel.
Yeah,
they were fated.
The ending had suitable shock factor with the revelation that Leo shot Jimmy and Frank went down for manslaughter. Spoilers, by the way. But the book was missing so much in terms of a satisfying love triangle that it felt like too much work for too small an orgasm. For me, anyways. I think in terms of the love triangle, which for me was supposedly the main selling point of the book.
And it was very short as well. They were found out so quickly.
Yeah, 100%. But
quickly.
That was supposedly, because when I read the blurb, I thought that was going to be the main selling point of the book. There's going to be a love triangle between this guy's wife and her old love who's moved back into town. Obviously, the stepbrother shoots the dog. We've got the chance encounter that people love. And then the trial stuff was really the meat and potatoes of the book, to be honest, but that wasn't really what was sold in the blurb. So I was happy with the ending. The ending was good, but it felt like I was reading a different book at this point.
Yeah, it evolved. The book evolved.
It definitely evolved. Which, like, what is this, a Pokemon? Like, I wanted I'm happy that it evolved ultimately because I didn't want to read another, boring love story.
So what do you want?
Who knows? I'm a complex person. You give me what you got. What you got? I'll see how I feel after I've had it.
Give me what I want, not what I asked for.
There you go. That's it.
Finally, we get back to the trial, and bloody hell, this barrister's good. Frank is on trial for murdering his own brother. Frank maintained that it was an accident and that his him and his drunk brother were wrestling over the gun and it simply went off and mortally wounded his brother.
Went off.
The barrister was like to Frank, "You love your wife, don't you? You've loved her through some difficult times, haven't you? You lost your son, and now even she's had an affair and you've still chosen her. Your loyalty to her is unwavering. Even when your brother said nasty things by calling her a slut, still, naturally you would choose her. You just saw red, didn't you?" And I remember thinking, fuck, he's going down for this.
Yeah, he's going down.
Because before the trial started, I thought, he's going to walk,
he's gonna walk,
you know.
bust case.
Especially when there's no sense of justice, as in there's no other family that expect justice. I don't know if this is true, but it feels like maybe the court isn't out to get to you so much. You know, you've lost your brother. It was a terrible. That's what it felt like. But with the way this barrister was moving, he wanted blood.
A bonus. Someone said you can get a bonus if this guy goes down for it. It's crazy because when he started talking about his love story, Frank was like, He's like, "You saw red? Huh? No. That's why they say lawyers are the scum of the earth. This is actually why they say that.
So props to the author. I really appreciate the plot twist that reveals that it was Leo who pulled the trigger. I really didn't see that coming. Realistically though, I mean, you would just call the police though, wouldn't you? There's no way Leo's going down for that.
Even if he does, I don't care. What the hell? I've lost my brother. What the hell? I'm not protecting you. You know my son. What's going on? Get out of here.
You can't have... Anyway, let me not. Am I looking too deeply into it, or is it beautifully poetic that it was Beth's responsibility to look after Leo and she failed, which resulted in a death, in the similar manner that Frank failed to look after Bobby, which also resulted in a death? Was that intentional by the author? And do you agree with me when I say that the book ended with one twist too many, with Leo being Bobby's brother? That was just like, why are we doing this?
I was like, because she talked a lot about, Leo reminds me so much of my son. And in there, I was like, they're not going to do the whole... Yeah. Do you remember reading, what book was we reading? It was, I think it was the first book we actually read for this channel. We didn't even do it.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember what I'm talking about? When I'm like...
She ends or something.
It was like, then she was gone.
Then she was gone.
And then it was like, the daughter was... She was... And I was just like... It's just too far-fetched to connect up the dots like that. The whole long-lost family thing. We talk about played out. Jesus Christ. Like, that might be the king of them all.
Yeah, I don't know why we needed that. It was good. We already had the twist with Leo pulling the trigger. I thought that was good.
At these points, it's more surprising when characters aren't related at this point. That's more of a surprise. So if you want shock, go with that, I would say.
But yeah, no, I think you made a very good point. We should have had more polarity between the two male squeezes. Maybe we could have had a little bit more from the love triangle. But yeah, no, I mean, I was impressed with the book. I didn't expect it to be that, actually. I didn't expect it to be good. I didn't expect to like it. And also, we've read actual fiction book in the category fiction, which we don't typically read. It's normally mystery and thriller or 100%. Romance, or we don't normally go for fiction books which don't seem to have a plot. They never seem to have a plot, but it's taken us somewhere, and it was interesting. It was good.
I would describe this book as a hammer. Long, thin body, and then all the stuff is right there at the end. It's very one-sided in terms of I could see how somebody could DNF this.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it wasn't really bad.
It wasn't
in the
really
beginning.
Bad,
it wasn't really bad.
If someone's not reading this for an episode or something, or they're not reading this for something.
Yeah, if they just might go off.
Yeah, if they just
it's very easy to do that.
Yeah, it's very easy.
But I would implore you to read on.
Yeah, stick it through. This book was sad as fuck. If you like that sort of thing, if you're a deep person, then you'll probably love it. I'm not what people would consider deep at all. I love explosions, fast cars, and strip clubs. I can appreciate a good tragedy though, even if it did make me want to drink bleach. But the lack of lightness in this book was a huge issue for me. So
maybe that's why in the end there was shoehorned in so much happiness. Because I was thinking, why did the book end so happy? When
everyone lost.
Everybody got pregnant, everybody was expecting a baby, then, there was so much happiness towards the end. And
I think that's probably what she tried to do.
She tried to lift our spirits.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same. Like, if you beat me up for 2 hours straight and give me some sugar, like, I don't feel better. I've still got beat up.
So what you're saying is you don't like sugar? That's what I'm hearing.
I'm sweet enough.
So, yeah, all right. So, firstly... would you recommend the book?
Yeah, I would recommend it, to be fair.
Just stop what you're doing and go and read that now.
100%. Yeah, quit your job.
So wait, do you think this is one of the best, I don't want to say one of the best books we read, but do you think it was up there?
No, I think it has potential to be up there, I just think because of the reading experience, cover to cover. I don't think I would consider this a great reading experience cover to cover because of so much you have to get through, so much rough to get to the green. But I think for what the book is pretty good.
Okay. So out of 5, surely you have to go higher than a 3.
It's a strong 3.
Yeah.
It's a strong 3.
Yeah.
I think it has potential to touch on 4, but I also think it's unfair because
we needed to feel more of the love triangle. We need to feel it.
Yeah. I think a strong 3 is a very fair score, whereas opposed to.
But I was impressed with the character Frank as well. The way he was so broken. He was so broken that his wife was having an affair. He didn't even confront her about it.
You had bigger things to worry about.
He didn't even confront her about it. He didn't try and stop her. He was just like, it is what it is, If it makes you happy. Because he felt like he was so in debt to his wife because he lost their son. Which, do you blame... Is it 100% his fault what happened? Without a shadow of a doubt?
No, it's not without a shadow of a doubt, like, go down for this sort of thing. I just think...
Was it negligence?
I think that's probably the best word you could use.
Which is difficult because when you live on a battlefield, you end up doing things that you wouldn't normally do under certain circumstances. So, for example, guns lying around the house. When you live on a farm, there's cows around,
Relatively
which cows can kill your child.
Yeah, but it's relatively safe.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? There's guns lying around. There's a tree there.
Battlefield is no place for a child.
Yeah, so they lived in a dangerous environment. But when you live with danger, you're blind to it. Yeah. You're blind to it. So it's hard to say to a guy, don't be too hard on yourself when your son's been killed. It's very difficult. But yeah, no, I thought it was a good read. I enjoyed it. It's actually made me think maybe I might have to look at some more of these fiction books because I don't really like typically reading fiction books. I don't know why. It feels like there's no direction, there's very little plot, and it's sometimes boring.
Well, fiction is all about how you feel, It's all about making the reader feel something on a journey as opposed to there being a point.
Yeah,
there's like loads of pointless books we've read, but people love them because it's just, I felt so many things during which is crazy because you love them books whereas there's no point. Like Intermezzo, for example, you love that. There was 0 point to that. That there was no conclusions reached.
I didn't like that there was no point to it, but I appreciated for what it was. That wasn't my favourite part. My favourite part of this book is that there's no point to it. That wasn't it. But yeah, Alison Estbach. What was that book? The Wedding People.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I did like that one as well.
The worst book of all time.
That was a fantastic read. Fantastic read. Nah. But yeah, I don't have a quote. I exhausted my one quote. So if you don't have one, then
I do have one.
I guess I could probably find one quickly while you.
Quote of the day: money isn't the most important thing in life, but it's pretty close to oxygen on the gotta have it scale.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, no,
You're not wrong. No, I haven't got one. I've got some, but I don't want to read. Streams. I don't want to read something that.
Just do it off the dome.
Are you crazy? Are you crazy?
Yeah, you're not Eminem.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's us, I guess. Till next time.
Till next time.